A Cold Grave is a horror film from 2024. This is directed by Brent and Rudnicki, written by Rudnicki, Kellan Rudnicki, and Ciara Wojtala. I apologise if I've mispronounced any of those names. And we have Benjamin L. Newmark as Roger, and I really wanted to like this. And the first couple of minutes were really good. The rest of the film is really bad, and there are a couple of reasons for that. But I will talk about those in a moment. I won't give any spoilers though, so I won't spoil what happens with the progression of the narrative, just in case you do decide to watch it. It's about a girl who's gone missing in this forest, and her brother goes to try and find her, and it's all about this mystery. And it's trying to be a creepy film where we have some shaky cam filmed in the forest with some jump scares. There are a couple of jump scares, not many, but they do work well when they happen. And it could work. It has potential. And the only really good thing about it, though, apart from the few tiny jump scares, is Newmark's performance. I think he did a pretty good job. The rest of it is really bad for a few reasons. There is just a lot of talking, and that's one of the reasons why it just doesn't work, is because the bulk of it is just people talking to the camera, and that's it. There is very little narrative progression. We need either two things here. Either progression of the narrative, as we piece together bits of the puzzle, doesn't really happen, or we need progression of the horror aspect, and it needs to get scarier as it goes on. Doesn't happen. So for about an hour, it's just over an hour, it's not tremendously long, which I don't mind. I don't think it, well, I'm kind of glad it wasn't longer. But throughout the hour or so, we don't have any narrative progression, really. We don't have any progression of horror. And for a good chunk of this, there is no horror. It is not scary. There are no jump scares. There's nothing creepy happening. It is very, very dull for the bulk of the lack of story. And obviously it's very dimly lit. It's mostly filmed at night. And if they were leaning into the scary aspects, that would be fine. But it's just a very dimly lit film with not a lot to look at, not a lot going on, people doing a lot of talking, but not saying very much at the same time. So it had potential. And credit where it's due, I love the poster artwork. I love the design of the poster for this. It's absolutely stunning. The film itself is not good. It had potential. The camera work is quite good. I think we had some decent camera angles and a couple of good performances, but the story is very badly written and the horror aspect is basically not there. If you're very new to horror films, you might find it a little bit, maybe not scary, but a little bit anxiety-inducing, I guess. So if you are not a horror fan at the moment, but you're curious to see how you deal with films that maybe have a couple of jump scares and a slightly spooky atmosphere at times, maybe it's worth watching. But if you're a horror fan, I don't think you'll get anything out of A Cold Grave. The horror aspects are very weak, and the story itself is even weaker. So unfortunately, I really wanted to like it, but A Cold Grave doesn't have a lot to offer.